Welcome bitches one and all to my reaction to season 1 episode 17 of the originals, Moon over Bourbon Street. So last time we ended with Klaus and Rebecca agreeing to go their separate ways, meaning that Rebecca is no longer in New Orleans, which, while I'm very happy for her, I'm really fucking sad that she's not going to be in the show for a while. I don't know how long she's going to be gone, but I just hope and pray it's no longer than either this series finale or the start of next season, because if it's any longer than that, that would be such a fucking shame. But yes, anyway, with all that said, very excited to be getting into this and seeing where the rest of the season goes now that we've got all of the... Oh my god, what was her name? Celeste. Jesus Christ, she's just gone. I've already forgotten her name. Now that we've got all these Celeste storylines tied up, I want to see where we're going to go from here. But yeah, with that said, let's jump back in to the world of the originals.
They say the passage of time will heal all wounds.
I wonder how losing Rebecca is going to impact him.
The deeper the cut, pain may fade, but scars serve as a reminder of our suffering.
Forgot about Father Kieran, he's fucked.
So as time moves along, we get lost in distractions, act out in frustration.
That's what she's up to, what the fuck?
React with aggression. Give in to anger.
Oh my god, they're all just out here killing each other.
And before we know it, the time passes. We are here.
I was gonna say, I don't expect it to not work, but fuck yeah, here we go. She's got her werewolf clan back.
My demons are dead or chased off.
Wow.
Yes, apart from the one lingering monster with whom you share a bed.
The one lingering monster whom you share a bed. Wow, Elijah.
You do recall that woman tortured our sister.
She also
don't think that's really his concern right now.
And as a consequence, Rebecca is gone forever.
A desire which she apparently harbored for quite some time.
Plus, it has been a month. But you must stop distracting yourself with this ridiculous behavior and channel it into some kind of action.
Why must...
Few things to note from that very short scene. Firstly, Klaus's reaction to it seems like a feeling she's been harboring for quite some time. The only reason she wanted to leave is because being with you was not allowing her to live her life. You were not allowing her to live her life. Thereby, she had to leave. It's not like she wanted to get away from you because of you for no reason. You know what I mean? And then secondly, Elijah coming in. Elijah, I understand what you're saying, and that's a very, like, evolved way of thinking. But at the end of the day, even with how old you are all still human. Feelings hurt, emotions hurt. And he's allowed to have this time. It's been a month, yeah, but this is like perhaps the biggest betrayal of his entire life. He's allowed some time to grieve it and to act out, you know? He's not hurting anyone. He's not out here killing anyone. He's just having sex with someone. So, in my opinion, let him go for a bit longer. And then if he's still going after like 5 months, then that's been quite a while and you can have this conversation. But don't just like go for him right now.
You wanted this throne. Now you must accept the responsibility that accompanies that.
Oh, has he been neglecting it?
If you could so easily neglect your home, I wonder what will become of your daughter.
Whoa, Elijah, careful. That's a big statement.
Let's make the city whole again.
Perhaps it is too broken to mend.
Interesting. I feel like that's a self-reflection on himself. Intriguing that Rebecca and Marcel's betrayal have kind of broken his dream of New Orleans. Also, I know how to say it. Is it Orleans or Orleans? Because I feel like with the American accent, it sounds more close to Orleans, but I don't know what to say with my accent.
These are the rules of the city according to Marcel Gerard, which of course no longer apply, because I am in charge.
Nice, Elijah.
You have one very, very simple choice ahead of you here. You can all play nicely together, or you can leave.
Ah, nice. I respect that. Interesting that they're doing spells in French.
See, Davina, it's easy. All you have to do is try.
Yeah, I do think it is an element of trying, but I think it's also an element of spirit. She's obviously been quite broken here, and so she doesn't have the quote-unquote power flowing through her right now because she feels broken within herself, so she's not going to feel powerful enough to do any kind of spell.
When are you going to stop being such a bitch to me, Monique?
Oh!
When you stop being weak.
Wow, Monique.
You're supposed to be a harvest girl, but maybe you don't belong here. Maybe you never did.
Monique's a little bitch.
Next up, let's go!
One question. Why do they have to take their shirts off?
This is just a lot more family fun than I'm used to.
Well, maybe I can help you get used to it.
Then all we gotta do is just forget she spent half her life with humans and the other half with vampires.
Ollie, back off.
Do they have issues with Haley?
One of the litter's got something to say. He should say it.
You know, word from the quarters, your boy Elijah's holding some kind of power summit. Guess who wasn't invited?
Where did you hear this?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, I guess that shows how much respect he's got for the werewolves, huh?
I'm sure if Haley went to Elijah, brought up her concerns, and maybe took a contingent of the werewolves with her to talk to Elijah, as long as the werewolves do not act out in aggression, I feel like they can get somewhere. I understand that the werewolves have reason to be angry, but Elijah did not do to them what was done. It wasn't his fault. It's like new management in New Orleans now, so maybe they can find their place again.
You'll all heed to the following.
Are you serious?
Oh,
You're
shit.
dividing up the city and the werewolves don't even get a say?
What the hell is she doing here?
Diego, sit.
There is not going to be a peace if the werewolves are excluded. They want a seat at the table. And if they don't get one, I can guarantee that you will all regret it.
Why do you all have issues adding them back to the table?
I can assure you, once this treaty is solidified, it will expand to include your people.
And until then, I should tell them what? Sit, stay, roll over.
I would prefer that you remove yourself from the process altogether.
Wow. Things are really blowing up between these two.
The wolves deserve a voice. Give them one. You know it's the right thing to do.
Haley is right. I do understand Elijah's point of view of making this summit about the witches and the vampires, because they were the ones currently arguing, but you should include the werewolves.
Do you believe this will actually work? That we can finally have some semblance of peace in this city?
I think it could
I
work.
saw the light from the courtyard and took a chance that
If you'll put the effort in.
you weren't with the half-naked psycho witch. Seems I gambled and lost.
10 minutes ago, I was fully naked.
Oh, then you served your purpose. Don't let me hold you up.
Cammy!
O'Connell sure do love to piss off witches.
Cammy, I love you for that. That was the best thing I've ever heard.
I'm here about my uncle. A witch did this. A witch can undo it.
These hexes, they start with magic, but as they take root, they alter the very chemistry of the brain. Sorry, Cammy, the damage is done.
That's so fucked up.
I refuse to accept that.
I know she's saying she refused to accept it, but just by the language alone, when you consider the idea of a hex, I feel like whenever we look at any kind of witchcraft in any kind of universe, a hex is different to a spell. A hex is inherently bad. It's something that, similar to a curse, it's like once it has taken root and it's done, you're fucked. You can't just take that away. So I think by language alone, I'm pretty sure Klaus is right. I'm pretty sure this is undoable.
The ancestors hated me for what I did with my magic. I can't just start practicing again. I knew I shouldn't have trusted Marcel when he told me to go back. I don't know how much more of it I can take.
Intriguing.
What was so important you dragged me all the way out here?
I have a proposal. I want you and all the guys who walked out on Klaus with you to join me.
Rounding up an army.
Can't take back the city without one.
You cannot take back the city from them, Marcel.
A battle is brewing, T. While everyone's busy choosing sides, I'm gonna find a way to take back our city. So, you with me?
You were always great with words, Marcel. But it's gonna take more than a pretty speech this time.
Nice one, Thierry. You got to be smart to understand that this is the lose. Well, you know what? You don't have to be smart. You can be dumb and still understand that Marcel's on the losing side right here.
Sickness, it's overtaking my inclination to forgive, replacing it with one thought that I could barely contain at the summit.
Oh, bless his heart.
You're an O'Connell. They are going to ask you to take my place at the table. Don't. Just leave. Just start over.
I'm not going anywhere as long as there's still a chance.
I don't think she'd go anywhere even if he did die.
There's only death. Theirs, mine, and yours.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Nice one, Cammy. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, it's horrible to watch this knowing that it's not even him. He's been taken over. Like, that's going to traumatize her, and one awful way for him to go out as well.
You own the Palace Royale Casino. You're one of the city's leading philanthropists. And according to my sources, you're the matriarch to a rather sizable drug trafficking empire.
Whatever you may think of me, my family's been a part of the human faction for years, which makes me uniquely qualified to take Father Kieran's place. You'll deal with me from now on.
Are you giving me a mandate?
I'm giving you an ally. I've already spoken to the city's new mayor and the chief of police and other interested parties. and I have their blessing.
Wow, she's properly gone under you, bro.
Have a good night.
Oh, I like her. I like her energy. You don't tend to get humans who are that, what do you call it? There's a difference. You don't tend to get humans who have confidence, but it's that kind of confidence that feels like they could actually do damage. Whereas, do you remember it was near the start of the season when the mayor, police chief, like all the humans got together and they bombed the vampire bar, and it was this whole thing of like, yeah, we showed them, and it's like, you're fucking dumb. Whereas compared to this feels like a different kind of confidence. This isn't cockiness. This isn't stupidity. She seems like she could genuinely do damage. She knows it, and she's letting Elijah know it as well. I like that kind of energy. Not gonna lie, I was just thinking about it, and I think the girl who plays Genevieve does a really good job at playing her character, because I really do not see the girl from Stargate. Like, she was a completely different character. She was like she was the president's daughter, and she was very, like, weak per se. Whereas Genevieve feels strong. Don't start, you little dick.
It's not even worth it.
I think you're gonna have to deal with that guy, Elijah, the vampire. He seems like he's becoming a problem.
Since you're preoccupied, I'll intuit your flattering compliment. Thank you. I think I look stunning too.
I love her. I love her.
I've already settled the dispute over the docks. I've pacified the witches with an increased share in cemetery tours, and I've given the Crescents a welcome back to humanity gift in the form of $100 chips to my casino. So, I think I deserve some champagne, don't you?
He will represent the human faction until he's ready to resume.
And I suggest we make the most of our limited time together.
She's a smart woman for accepting that, because I think we all know Kieran's going to be going downhill. Well, he's already at the bottom of the hill, Harry. What are you talking about?
You heard about the summit? If it falls apart, each faction's gonna look for leverage against the other ones. Davina has to be able to defend herself, even from her own people if need be.
Why are you telling me?
Because someone has to tell her, and she won't listen to me.
So, what, I tell her and you try to get her back on your side?
Yeah, that's what this is feeling like.
I don't care whose side she ends up on, just that she's safe. Because we both know right now she isn't.
I want to believe that, Marcel, but with you trying to raise an army to try and take back the French Quarter, it feels like you're trying to get her back as a weapon. Could be completely wrong, but that's just how it feels.
You will be polite and welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? His people killed my whole family. My sister bled out on the floor right next to me.
Ah.
And the only reason I'm standing here is because Marcel came along and turned me before I bled out too.
Okay. Sorry, Diego. I rescind my previous comments. I was not aware of this. That sucks then. What? So the werewolves killed humans? Because he said that my sister bled out on the floor next to me and I only was saved because Marcel turned me, thereby implying that he was human. So why were they out there killing humans?
Diego, I understand your anger. However, there are certain overtures that need to be made if we are to find a degree of peace.
But yeah, I do agree with Elijah. Even though it fucking sucks, Diego, and I'm sorry, you gotta just push through it.
If anyone threatened to dismantle what I'm building here, I destroy everything they hold dear.
Wow.
Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, Elijah. that was kind of hot.
Don't tell me you're jealous of Cammy, love.
Just curious why you'd seek her company. She seems so ordinary.
I will say, it's very funny watching Genevieve go with Klaus, because we know in the past when she was having that flashback with Rebecca that she said that of any of Rebecca's brothers, she would choose Klaus. And with how she was acting earlier, it feels as though she's actually developed or is developing feelings for him, whereas I think we can all agree Klaus does not give two shits about Genevieve.
Come and promise me. Not another thought about Cammy.
Oh, I hate it. This isn't a relationship, Genevieve. I don't know what you're thinking it is.
I know your power. I know your burden. I'm here to take the latter away.
You want to make me a hybrid? I'm not going to let anything compromise my family line, especially becoming some bloodthirsty vampire parasite.
Wow.
That pride, that sense of loyalty. Well, that's exactly why I haven't snapped your neck yet.
Intriguing that he wants to make him a hybrid, because as far as we know, the only way to do that, it was successful, wasn't it? The whole, yeah, it was, where they used the baby's blood to create a hybrid, but the funny thing was that it wasn't sired to Klaus or anything. It was sired to the baby, therefore protecting the baby. So why would Klaus want to turn him? Because it's not as if, like, if he had access to Elena's blood and he was going to make him a hybrid that way, I would think that the reason Klaus is doing this is because he wants the leader of the werewolves on his side. But if that's not the case, then why would he want to turn him into a hybrid? I don't understand.
Vampires destroy life to survive. Witches are only as powerful as their dead. The werewolves have thrived because their strength comes from family unity. The safety of that unity is what I want for my unborn child.
Okay, so it's to do with his child.
My mother was a very powerful witch. Her most prized possession was this ring. She gave him this ring as a way of freeing him.
How so?
Daylight rings shield vampires from the sun, so why not a moonlight ring to protect werewolves from the curse?
I've always wondered about that. I've always wondered if there is a witch way to create something that would block them from having to transform every month, because we know that hybrids have complete control over it. So it's like possible in that way to block it. So why could they not just come up with some kind of spell to block it? That's such a cool concept. A moonlight ring.
You look,
Nervous, out of place, short and distressed.
Davina, wow.
I was gonna say pretty. I'm Oliver. So what's the name of the girl I'm about to ask to dance?
Smooth.
Her name is Monique.
Monique, that was disgusting. Like, that made me feel weird. That's like the opposite of having... That's like... I'm sorry, that really took me off guard. I was trying to say, that's not even like having game. That wasn't even good, Monique. It was awkward. It was weird. It felt very much like that person who has confidence who shouldn't have confidence. And I'm not knocking like her looks or anything. She is beautiful. It's just like the way she said it and the way she slid in. Like, fucking hell, hun.
I do hope your daughter inherits her mother's everything.
Nice, Elijah.
It is weird being back here.
Not unpleasant, I hope.
Not entirely.
I love these two so much. I just don't know if it's going to be able to work.
I'm not gonna sit in a rocking chair and knit booties, or haven't you figured that out yet?
Can I have a minute, Haley?
You can have it later.
Actually, he can have this dance.
Nice, Haley. Don't let him speak for you. Like, I love Elijah, but I hate when people speak for each other in that regard. She can do what the fuck she wants with her time.
I should have told you how beautiful you look tonight.
Smooth. This is what I mean. I'm so down for Elijah and Haley, but I just feel like with this guy throwing a spanner in the works and the whole like arranged marriage thing, I don't know what's going to happen.
He's not going to hurt you again. In fact, he won't leave the attic at all. I arranged for a little boundary spell.
You're the first person to help me in a month. Kieran's the only family I have left without him. I'm alone.
Anything I can do to help, Cammy, just let me know.
There is one thing. We're out of bourbon.
Wronged you in any way. You have my condolences, okay? Though I'd be surprised if I can't get you up and down being half as ugly as him.
Fuck's sake.
This ends now. I won't ask again.
Oh, we'll end it all right.
Oh, shit.
What's stopping you? Kill him.
Huh?
I mean, it's not like he doesn't deserve to die.
Shouldn't you intervene or something?
Why would I? This party just got interesting.
We can't all learn to get along if our families can't create some sort of community, then what's the point? Kill each other and get it all over with.
Good all or nothing approach there, Haley. It is true. Like, they're all sat here like, you've wronged me. And I know it's over serious things like family members dying and all that. But, like, be a little bit fucking smart and realize all the shit that you've done as well. And that's for every single fucking faction, every single person in this room. Think about what you've done to hurt each other and realize that this is all just a big bunch of fucking bullshit. Do you all really want to be at war for the rest of your lives? Do you all really want to spend the rest of your lives in agony, watching people die, going out and killing people because they killed one of yours? Like, it's just all fucking shit. Who wants that? Just put some fucking effort in.
My first boyfriend, my only boyfriend really, gave him to me for Valentine's Day senior year. Tried to hide him in my bedroom, but my parents found him. I don't know it, but roses will jam even the best paper shredders.
I once had to hide a Zac Efron calendar that my friend got me.
I don't really care what they think anymore. If your family doesn't like you the way you are, screw them. You got me.
Got your chosen family, Davina. That can be just as deep.
Marcel used me.
He used you to fight the people who were trying to kill you.
This is the annoying thing. It's like, I do genuinely think Marcel was using her, but it's not so simple to say that he was using her. He was protecting her, and he was keeping her safe from those people by having her go against them. But you can't deny that there was some selfishness in that. There was a lot of selfishness in that. She allowed him to have complete control over the witches in the French Quarter. Like, that's a huge thing. And of course he would have taken advantage of that. But I don't think it's as easy to sit here and say that he used you, Davina. He wasn't planning to use you when he went and saved you from the harvest ritual. That wasn't his plan. He only found out later on that you could do that. And it was kind of like a benefit while also keeping you safe. So I'm not really against Davina trusting Marcel again. It's just whether Marcel will still care for her and still have her interests at heart when he's trying to get the city back. Because it was all very well and good having her best interests at heart when he was in charge. But now that he's not in charge and he's trying to get that back, will he do what's best for her? I don't know. We'll have to see.
All the power I had was from the other Harvest Girls. I don't even know what I have without it.
Don't you owe it to yourself to find out?
Not just that though, but the other Harvest Girls seem quite powerful after coming back, Davina. So, you never know.
You're a witch, Davina. You can't change your DNA any more than I can. So you might as well embrace it.
Fuck yeah. That's an interesting point because being a witch has always been a kind of like outcast thing in TV shows, and it can often be linked to minority groups and how you can't really change who you are. Let's go, Davina! Also, I know that's a very simple spell, but how fucking handy would that be? If you got flowers from someone, you just keep rejuvenating them.
You okay?
There's some bruises. I'm still bruised.
I'm glad she had a nice night.
You're a good friend, Marcel.
You should lie down.
Good, Marcel.
I'm tired of being alone.
Marcel, don't. She's intoxicated. Marcel. I know vampires can technically get drunk and all that, but I feel like Marcel was a little bit more aware than Cammy was just then. But they've both been drinking, so it's not as if he's fully like sober taking advantage, so I'll let it go. Oh, you cheeky bitch. What are you doing? Are you just keeping an eye on things?
Not that that wasn't totally worth it.
Or are you
It can
doing
never happen
things?
again.
What if one of us craves another julep?
So that's how that works. I was going to say, that looks like way too... Obviously, I don't understand the magic involved, but the contraption looked way too easy to make to suddenly be able to spy on anyone. So it literally acts as like a window as long as you place it in the location.
Marcel, it really was totally worth it.
Hell yeah. Also, still very intrigued as to why Genevieve placed that in Cammy's home. What was she hoping to gain with that?
I know those vampires, they didn't just leave the compound. They left New Orleans.
So us against the world?
We'll get a third. And a fourth. And pretty soon we're gonna have that army.
An intriguing painting. All the dark red clouds. Are those the two warring sides within him? Vampire and werewolf?
All change begins with a plan, the success of which depends upon several things. Depth of commitment, passion for one's cause,
Piss off, Monique.
determination to overcome any obstacle.
I love how shook Monique was. That's so funny.
Klaus is right. This magic could do more than just stop us from turning.
What more could it do?
We could draw on all the strength, all the speed, and the raw power of our werewolf form. Our bite would be lethal to vampires 24/7.
Okay, so it's not necessarily just a suppression ring. It's more so a control ring. So rather than just suppressing that one night of the full moon, it gives you control of your form. Similar to how hybrids can do it whenever, but obviously hybrids are a bit more of an advanced version. But still, having the moonlight ring would be a huge fucking advantage.
But I assure you, the city's inhabitants will not adhere to this agreement.
Well, you are welcome to wager against me. You will lose.
Elijah's pretty confident on this.
We'll see.
Thought so. Okay. I know it's a little more of a, like, political episode, and in the grand scheme of action, nothing big happened. but I actually really fucking like that episode. That might be one of my top of the season. So yes, there we have season 1, episode 17 of the originals. And like I just said, I actually really like that episode. The reason I like more political minded episodes is not because of the politics, because I'm not a politics boy at all. It's more so to do with the fact that I love the universe. I love expanding the universe. And these kind of episodes, they're not just wasted on action scenes and people dying and all of that. It's actual development. Like, we're seeing this city develop. We're seeing each faction develop and their own ideals, their own thoughts and feelings on the situations. And so, like, when you look at the werewolves, you think that, oh, they're here to try and get a semblance of their power back and be equals as everyone. But it seems as though the werewolf leader wants to be above everyone. Now, does he mean above them in the sense of we're all equal, but because we're above, it means that they won't attack us? Or does he mean that we're all equal, but because we're above, we're now going to rule? Like, we're going to fight Elijah for rule of the city because we're going to be better than everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it as a defense mechanism having this ring, or is it as an actual offensive first strike kind of thing? Like, are you fully going to try and wipe out all the vampires in the city if you get access to these rings and you can kill them? Now, in regards to the other factions, it does seem as though everyone is playing nice for now. Diego even signed the thing. It's a tough one because there are so many grievances between all of these factions. Like, you would have to let go of such deep-rooted pain to allow this to fully happen. And I think what's best for all the factions right now is you all co-inhabit, but you all keep your separate areas. You don't keep the hatred going, but you don't just immediately be best buddies with everyone, because I think that's where you get into issues where if everyone's just expected to be best friends, you're going to run into so many issues where they don't co-inhabit very well. Like, you're fine to live in the city together and to stick to your own areas and be happy and stick to the rules and all that and stay good. But you gotta, even though I think you do need to make some effort to combine the factions and to have, for instance, witches hang out with vampires and actually have friends in each circle, even though I think that should happen, I think it's wrong to expect it so early. So I think that everyone should be a bit mindful of that and not just immediately like throw a party every week to have everyone come together and act like everything's okay, you know? It's gonna take time to have these deep-seated problems get sorted out, you know? Now, in regards to individual characters this episode, we had a lot of things explored for a lot of people. For Davina, it was nice to see her go back to her magical roots and explore it. And I did like the comparison that Josh made between his sexuality and being a witch, because yes, they're very different, but I find that in a lot of TV shows, whenever you have this element of a supernatural faction, because they are literally minorities, they act as kind of, what's the word? As a substitute for other minorities. And you can see yourself, like, you can see, it's not exactly the same in the Vampire Diaries, but it's like you can see you being gay and your upbringing as someone being a witch and their upbringing. It doesn't really match, but you get what I mean. It's like you can match your own personal experience with something they're going through, even though they're not completely similar, you know? I find the best example for this is often when you look at the X-Men universe and you see mutants in that regard and you compare that to sexuality and all of that. It's a very similar vibe of people saying you're wrong. And for instance, in one of the X-Men movies, like, conversion therapy is technically what the cure was. Do you get what I mean? It's like you can draw very similar conclusions from both, and it's an interesting way to match with real life. Sorry, I know I just rambled a lot about that, but I just wanted to make my point clear. Now, in regards to other people, I feel bad for Haley because we saw Haley lied to this. Well, not really lied to. We saw information kept from Haley this episode twice and on both sides. Elijah kept information from her for the meeting, which I don't think was fully intentional. I don't think Elijah thought to himself, I'm going to leave the werewolves out. It was more so a meeting of these current factions are fighting and I need to stop that, so I'm going to call a meeting with them. Whereas the other person that lied to Haley was her apparent, what do you call it? Like someone who's been set up to marry her. Because I'm going to look up his name because I feel like he's going to be important. Okay, Jackson, right. Jackson lied to her towards the end of the episode. And I don't know if it's necessarily a lie, but it does seem like he's keeping it from her. The whole thing about the moonlight ring and the fact that he said it'll make us more powerful than all the other factions makes me think that he's not going to tell her because he knows that she's going to have an issue with that, which I have an issue with that. Like, if you're going to be lying to her, and not just that, but I feel like he's being way too lovey-dovey with her. Like, I feel like he's fully expecting that this arranged marriage is going through full force. Like, it seems as though he has no shadow of doubt in his mind that they are now together. Whereas with Hailey, obviously, she's just a single woman with two people that she has feelings for and just kind of trying to find her way around it all, you know? I say feelings for because it does seem like she has some element of feelings towards Jackson, but we do know that she has feelings for Elijah. So it's kind of like, it's strange to see him be so lovey-dovey and kind of as if they're already a couple, you know? Now, in regards to other people, obviously Marcel's an interesting one because you see him hanging out with Cammy and it's nice to see her happy. You see him repair things with Davina and it's nice to see that. But then to go to Thierry and say that I'm already making allies, it feels like you are just drawing from her power. It feels like you are just getting Davina because of her power rather than wanting her to be safe because you're getting allies. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a tough one because you can do both at the same time. You can care for her and also get her as an ally politically and also physically. Like, she's going to be a powerful witch, so she'll be able to help you. But I don't know, it just feels weird to say that I'm not doing this out of trying to use her for her power. I'm doing this because I care about her. And then you go to Thierry and say I'm making allies for our fight in the future, you know? Just feels a bit dodgy in my opinion, but is what it is. Klaus was an interesting one this episode because he didn't have a huge impact on the story because he was very much keeping himself in solitude, but obviously he had a huge impact with the introduction of the moonlight ring, which is something I really want to explore. Now, where Klaus stands right now, I don't know. It seems like he is keeping his distance from things because he's been so hurt, and I think it's a matter of he doesn't want to just so easily move on. He's still dealing with the pain of Rebecca's betrayal and the pain of her leaving him. So I feel like we're not going to see Klaus get back to his King of New Orleans for a little bit. I think we're going to be seeing him a little more distant for the time being, just while he processes everything, you know. But his relationship with Genevieve is so strange. You can't even call it a relationship. I feel like she sees it as more of a relationship than he does. He's just being with her because it's a distraction, it's something to do, whereas it seems like Genevieve actually has feelings brewing, which slightly awkward, but it's on her. But yes, anyway, with all of that said, like I said, that was another fantastic episode. Really enjoyed exploring the whole factions coming together, what that means, who the heads of all the factions are, this new human that's been introduced, which is cool, head of like a drug family. It just seems like we're finally getting into New Orleans as a community rather than all of these warring people, which could be cool. But yeah, anyway, with all that said, thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon where you're able to find the early and uncut reactions to the originals and all the other shows that I do. Also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my social, so be sure to follow them if you are interested. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.